I'm pleased to say Calum Best is with us in the studio. How are you?
Reality star royalty. Was that my intro?
Is that what it said?
I think that was what was said, but then I thought to myself, that's pretty fair. I've been doing that for a long time.
But from the telly to the touchline, I mean, that was a sensational piece.
I thought so too.
Broadcast journalism there, Calum?
I like it. I couldn't ask for a better transition, if I'm honest with you. I've been very grateful and lucky to do some great TV over the years, but also some car crash TV. But I like that it's actually led me here, so it's all good.
Thank you for coming in.
No worries, my pleasure.
I mean, we've got so much to ask you about in terms of like, well, you're a Manchester United fan, right? For obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But what still takes me by surprise is your involvement and your passion for women's football. I mean, we're all for that.
First one on Man United, I love the idea of Van Nistelrooy. I think he's genius. I watched the game last night and I thought to myself, what a great person to have. Who knows if it'll stay, but I thought to myself, there's a good look there. A random story, I remember, this is a bit tragic, but I'll tell you anyway, because it's a bit relevant. When my old man passed, right, there was I was all over the place. I remember I was like drinking whiskey before this memorial. I was pretty lost at the time. And I remember Ruud coming up out of all the people and like sat there and looked at me and I could feel his sincerity, like asking how I was doing. So I've always had a soft spot for him. So I liked seeing him on the touchline last night.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Well, she must have been so young at the time as well, then coming up and having that conversation with you.
Yeah, and I was all over. I mean, I think I had just done a shot of whiskey at the bar. I shouldn't admit that, but that's how lost I was back then,
no wonder.
you know? But yeah, transitioning into women's football, random, it just came about. Like, I've loved football my whole life. And when I moved here from California when I was 21, I fell out of love with football because I felt the pressure more than I had kind of felt it before, because it was put in my face a lot. And then a few years later, I started playing charity games, and I'd always go to United. And then I became a fan of Dorking Wanderers through my friend Mark White. I'm sure you've seen clips of Mark White on various bunch of amateur shows and stuff like that. And he said to me, we're launching this women's side of our team, because as a club grows, you need certain aspects of the club for the club to grow. And I think launching a development team, a women's side, the men's development team, and he asked me to do a little good luck video. So I grabbed the phone, did a, hi team, good luck, all that stuff. And then I thought, that's really cool. What more can I do there? I asked him if I could sponsor the team with a business that I had. And he's like, mate, do you want to get more involved? And I said, well, what do you think? And he said, how does chairman sound? I said, sounds pretty cool to me. Right. And I liked the idea of it being kind of grassroots at the time. They were at the bottom of the football pyramid, as I'm sure you know all about. It was like, in some random pitch somewhere, muddy, nothing glamorous about it. And I loved the idea of that. So I said, yeah, I'll take the role. And here I am in my 4th season, coming into my 5th.
What was it that you wanted to get stuck into at the bottom of the pyramid? Because to me, I'm like, obviously you're well connected. You probably like think, okay, maybe I'll start a bit higher up somewhere.
Yeah.
Why did you want to go to the very bottom?
That's actually a good question. And I actually think to myself sometimes that part of it was the non-obvious bit of it that I really liked. I like to do things that are like underdog and not obvious, and I've been very blessed with great connections at United and Fulham, and there's all these different places that my old man played where who knows if maybe I had the conversation, something could come, who knows what it is. But I'm like, no, let's start at a unique, random, bottom of the thing and see where we can go with it. And I also realized that those connections that you speak about could potentially help that club and help that journey and that team. And that's exactly what happened. As soon as I announced that I was chairman of Dorking, TV royalty, as you say, came in, and BBC got in touch, and they're like, we used to make a documentary called Squad Goals. Did you ever see that with West Ham?
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
Were you not in it?
I might have been in a couple of episodes.
She goes, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I heard about that
And then
once.
they released her.
I wasn't in it enough, I must say. I would have got the ratings in if I was a bigger feature in it. But anyway, that's
on that note, ours flopped too, to be fair.
Yeah?
Yeah, we did it. They filmed us for a whole season. I don't think it did that well, which I was gutted about, because I pictured one of those, and at the time, Wrexham, the documentary, wasn't out yet. So I thought to myself, that could have been us, but it wasn't.
Yeah. Let's talk about Manchester United. Ruben Amorim, it looks like he is the man who will be getting the job. But what you mentioned about Ruud van Nistelrooy, would you think he's good enough for it now?
I don't know. There's something about old United icons that I like the idea of, but I don't know, that maybe that's just because it's you look and you go, I remember the heyday and I loved the heyday, so maybe we could bring that back. But we saw, sadly, that didn't happen before with Solskjaer. But at the same time, I think Ruud's, who knows, he could be the man for the job. I go on my social media, my Twitter, for example. Twitter can be a funny place, but I'm really lucky because it's all diehard Man United fans that I like interact with. We share pictures of my dad. We talk about football. We talk about United. It's a real negative place at the moment, you know, when it comes to the support system for United. And all I keep seeing is that the new potential manager, I don't know if it's a definite yet, is it?
It's not.
No.
Well, I mean, they've triggered the release clause and stuff.
Yeah. Well, they keep saying, no, he tried to go here, there, and there, and they all rejected him. And then they're going, oh, but we're desperate for him. And I'm like, before it even starts, there's already skepticism, which I don't like to see. You want to see people being excited about something new and fresh, but...
I think it sounded like City wanted him.
And West Ham and somewhere else. I was reading all sorts of places.
His name has been bandied about, especially over the summer. But I mean, what he's done for Sporting Lisbon is absolutely incredible. But heavy lies the shirt at Manchester United. I mean, it's a different ball game completely.
I was talking about this to somebody yesterday on the flight back, and it was like, can you imagine people potentially turning down the role at United when it should be the biggest and best role in the world? You know what I mean? But because of the pressures that have happened over the past years, I can imagine some people being like, ooh, you know? When really you go, no, it's United. People should be desperate for the role, desperate to play in that team and in that position. So I think whoever takes the role, it's not going to be an easy one, but it's also manager of Manchester United or player at Manchester United. I don't think it gets any bigger than that.
I just think it's fascinating that since Sir Alex, no managers seem to really get to grips with it. So what is it? Is it the team? Is there something deep-rooted in the club? It's fascinating because, like you say, so much history at Manchester United, but they are miles off it right now.
Yeah.
Like, how did the players play like that last night in the Cup? That's the same team. They were relentless last night. Could have been 6-1 up in 40 minutes.
Maybe that is sometimes when a manager leaves.
I think that's what it is.
Get that
It's like that new
life. But
shackles off, all that cliche.
And who knows? I mean, you never want to guess, but you think to yourself, who knows what was going on behind the scenes? And then maybe, like I looked at Casemiro's goal and I go, why hasn't that happened yet for the past X amount of time? Please do that every game, you know, because he's probably got it in him, but you haven't seen it because there's been this like dark cloud and this shadow over our club. But I liked seeing us thrive last night, but you just hope for it to be bigger and better because, as I said, United, biggest club in the world, it should be that.
Yeah.
You know?
And one of your dreams for Dorking is to go and play Manchester United at some point.
I'd love it.
Who do you support there?
Who?
You Man United or Dorking when you're playing?
Ooh, I mean, there's always going to be the love for the team that I was raised with, but
hope you kill them at the same time.
Yeah, without a doubt. I'll start with taking them to watch the game. I'm really lucky at United that I could say, do you mind if I bring the girls up and we have a box and watch the game? And I want them to experience it. I haven't done it yet, but it's in the top of my mind because I think it would be a great experience for
AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.